Boone, and we are just so excited to be back here with this free 5-part series. We are just looking at jump-starting your vision. And today we are looking at part 3, getting what you need to get it done. I know, when we looked back at what we've already looked at, we've really gone deep. Part 1, we were deciding exactly what we wanted to accomplish, right? We were breaking down the vision. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? We were breaking down the vision into manageable pieces. We were looking at our gifts and our talents. And more importantly, we talked about in part 1 how we have to know that when God gives us something, hi, Lauren, how are you? Hi, Brother Kevin, God bless you. We have to, when God gives us the dream or the vision, we have to know that it's not inconceivable. Although the vision is so big, we can still obtain it, right? It's going to take some work, but we can do it. And then part 2, we looked at some hard places. We looked at the importance of digging deep. We looked at obstacles, and hey, Sydney, sweetheart, we looked at obstacles and those limiting beliefs that can really paralyze us from moving forward. And I know last week when we talked, I really shared my own struggle with fear, and even more so with that monster that I was dealing with, and that was shame. And those of you who didn't see last week's broadcast, you might want to go back and look at it. Hey, Michelle, woman of God, God bless you. Last week we really had to dig deep into those crevices, those places that really you've given it permission to hold you hostage so you can't move forward. And so today we're looking at part 3. Just what do you need to get it done? And you need to really, ask yourself, just what do I need to launch this vision, to launch this dream? And so today, like week 1, we're going to really start assessing again. Now, if you look up at the top of your page, you will see that I put a link for your own worksheet. And I pray that you will take some time to download that. And if you don't want to go along with me now with the worksheet, download it later. And then just spend some quality time, maybe you and the Lord, and just kind of like look at those questions that I'm putting out there so you can really just think some things through, because today we're going to have to assess again. Hey, Brother Anthony, God bless you. Thank you for watching. Okay, so if you're really going to put things in motion, you're going to have to assess, just like what I said, you're going to have to assess what you already have and what you need, right? So you're going to have to really look at what you have, that can help build the foundation for building your vision and launching your dream. So what you already have and what you now really need. So, let's look at it. Do you need tools? I've got some notes here. Do you need tools? Do you need a new computer? Do you need a new camera? Do you need a new light kit? When I was really preparing for my Facebook Lives, I had to learn how to use my phone, right? But I needed a tripod, which I have. It's right here. The phone is standing on it. And then I bought a light kit because I wanted you to be able to see me when I went live. That was some of the things. Hey, Dee Dee, how are you? Those were some of the things that I needed if I was going to launch and do these live segments successfully. Those were some things I had to really, go to Amazon and order. And so I needed more things, but that was just an example of what I needed. But what do you need? Do you need a computer? Do you need a branding plan? Do you need a marketing plan? Do you need training? Do you need, lots of times we need certifications or accreditations, and you can even go to your local community college and see what programs they offer to certify you or give you some type of certificate or some type of accreditation. And the community college is a very expensive way for you to get what you need to get it done. Okay, I was looking at IT certification, CFP, those of you who want to be certified financial planners, you can go get certified in that. Project management certification. Like me, I wanted to become a coach. So I didn't get one. I got 3 coaching certifications. I got one as a growth coach. I got one as a certified life coach. And then I got one as a certified executive leadership coach. Those accreditations. Oh, and then Michelle says Best Buy has tripods also. Praise God. But I needed certifications and for my coaching business. And I know a lot of people that are in ministry, and like in our denomination, they require a Master's of Divinity before you can even go into ministry. And some may even want to pursue their doctorate. God bless you, man of God. Thank you for joining me. So, what do you need? Assess. I even jotted down in my notes, maybe you're a nursing assistant and you want to become an LPN, or maybe you're LPN and you want to become a registered nurse. You might want to go online and see what are the requirements that you need to fulfill that type of accreditation, right? Or you're a teaching assistant and you want to become a teacher. It's out there. Hey, Melinda, God bless you, woman of God. So you've got to do the work. You've got to assess where you are right now and what you need to get done, right? To fulfill the dream. And you all, let me just say this to you. There's really no need for you looking for the certification, the training, the classes, if you are going to do all that research and then you're not going to commit to doing the work, right? It's going to take work. It's going to take work for you, and it's going to take a sacrifice of time going to class, doing the homework, writing the papers, oh, God bless you too, taking the time to doing everything that you need to do to get what you need to get it done. I even knew for myself, even when, I had that dream of when I wrote my first book, it's more than just writing a book, right? You can have the dream of writing a book, but if you're not dedicated to building a writing schedule, to preparing a launch schedule, to get that book edited, to get that book, your cover professionally designed, to get a strong marketing strategy, how are you going to launch your book on Facebook and other platforms? It's more than just having the dream or the vision. You're going to have to commit to doing the work, to getting it done. So that's the first thing that I want you to do. Hey, sweetheart, how are you? I see my girlfriend. She's more like a little sister, Lynette, on the line. Good to see you, sweetie. And Sister Carolyn, I see you as well. Thank you for joining me. The next thing that I want you to do, this is going to be hard, but maybe you need financing. Maybe you need to build a stronger relationship with your bank. Maybe you need to build a relationship with one of the bank officers where you can sit down and see what you need to get a loan from the bank to finance your business. Or maybe it's that, you really don't have a problem with getting the finances. You just have a problem with managing money. Maybe you need a finance coach or somebody who's a CFP who can help literally sit down with you, go over your finances, and see where you're spending money unnecessarily in shopping or buying things that you really don't need, right? And to help you, look at where your money's going out so you can kind of manage your finances a little bit better so you can properly finance your dream. It could be that. It could just be a willingness just to sit down and look at the numbers to see what money's coming in, what money's going out, and when that money's going out, where exactly is it going, right? So it's a lot of assessing, looking at where you are, looking at where you want to go, and looking at what you need to do to kind of get everything that you need so you can move forward. And then we're going to go a little bit deeper. It may not even be that. It may not even be tools. It may not be a class. It may not be a certification or an accreditation. Maybe what you need is someone to talk to get you through some hard places that is really holding you hostage. Remember last week when we talked and I shared my struggle with shame? And I really, as I shared with you in my testimony last week, that breakthrough did not come through until I talked to a friend. And that friend began to ask me some really deep and heavy questions, right? And as she asked me questions, then I really had an opportunity. Don't make me laugh, Lynette. I really had the opportunity to look at where I was and those things that were holding me hostage. And I came to the realization that it wasn't really the fear that I thought. It was shame. And those are two diametrically opposed things, right? Fear and shame are two different things. And I had confronted the fear, but I didn't even acknowledge the shame until like 2 weeks ago. And so I want you to know that you may just need someone to talk to help you get through a hard place, to help you realize that although you've gone through a struggle, although you've gone through a hard time, you still can push forward in birthing your dream, in birthing your vision. But you are going to have to be willing to dig deep, like we talked about last week, and be willing to talk to someone. So, maybe you need a counselor. Maybe you need a mentor. Maybe just need a friend that you consider a safe place to share your heart and to share your struggle. But if you're not willing to go there, it's always going to be this wall that you're hitting up against, that every time you move forward, you take 3 or 4 steps back because you're not willing to dig and really dig, deal with that hard place that you have yet to deal with. So go in those sacred places and look at that place where you need to talk to someone and be willing to share your heart. Be willing to confront those hard places, because that could be the only thing that's holding you back from, birthing your dream or launching this idea or, putting that program out in the public. That was my struggle. I had shame attached to what I was trying to do. So everything that I tried to do, I literally came to a halt because I hadn't acknowledged the shame. The shame was always there. So I wouldn't take a risk. I wouldn't get out of the proverbial boat and do what I had to do because I didn't even acknowledge that there was shame attached to the possibility of what I wanted to do. So for me, I went real deep. You may not have to go that deep. You might have been dealing with grief or loss or frustration or rejection, divorce. My husband, hey honey, how are you? My baby boy, he just joined. I'm talking about my big baby boy. He just joined the broadcast. You might have to just make the decision that you are going to have to face some hard places. God bless you, woman of God. Thank you so much for joining me. I see Reverend Dr. Signor on the line. God bless you, Pastor Charlotte. I just wanted you to know that if you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Don't let those feelings keep you a prisoner, keep you hostage. When God is telling you, He's ready for you to launch. He's ready for you to do it. This thing that He's told you, He says, I'm waiting on you. So do what you have to do, right? Do what you have to do. Get what you need to get it done. All right? So, you know what? I looked at my notes and for some of us, and we've talked about this before, for some of us, as we talk to people about those hard places, for some of us, it's just forgiving someone for doing something to us, moving past the hurt, moving past the betrayal, moving past what they did or what he did or what she did, moving past, forgiving them and moving on. So you can now embrace this new vision that God has given you. Behold, all things are passed away. Now, behold, some things are new. I think the Bible says all things are new, right? So if we can put those things that are behind us and leave them there, right? No picking them back up off the altar. Leave them there and move forward so God can help propel you to that next place. So talk to someone that you need to talk to if you are in a hard place, right? Okay, point number 4, which I think is pretty critical, really critical. Confront any lasting fears or intimidation. Because after you assess and after you really see what you need to do to get it done, you can't allow fear and intimidation to stop you. So I want you to confront the fear of asking somebody for help. A lot of times, we've got everything that we need, except if we could just get somebody to help us along the way, to advise us, to mentor us, to coach us, to kind of open a door for us and show us how it's done. Because there are, as a mentor is already there at that place where you want to go. But if you're so intimidated that you can't even ask them for help, I'm going to share a quick testimony. The Lord just dropped something in my spirit. But if you're too intimidated to ask them for help, then, you've got a way to get from point A to point B. But if you're not willing to ask for help, you might stay stuck right there where you are. And all you really needed was a helping hand or an open door, right? So let me just give you a quick testimony from this morning because the Lord just dropped it in my spirit. I'm not going to give you a lot of detail, but just a perfect example. I have an awesome mentor because when I need help, right? Hey, cousin Sparkle, thanks for joining me on today. When you need help, it's there and you're just too embarrassed to ask for it, right? So my mentor has a project and she's getting ready to do, and she called me up and I hadn't registered yet, right? And, we got a lot of stuff going on and I just haven't registered yet. And she said to me, Melody, if you need my help, just ask me. I'm here. Just ask me. And I was like, wow. I just could have simply asked her for help. She's there for me, right? That's the awesome thing about having an awesome mentor in your life. And she's like, Melody, just ask me. I'm here for you. Just ask me. And I was like, wow. All I had to do was ask. And then I asked, and it was done, right? And so I want you to know that you shouldn't be afraid to ask for help from people that want your best. want God's best for you, and they would willing to go out on a limb for you. They're there to, right, Melissa? They're there to help you along the way. Melissa, she's my spiritual daughter. She says, "You have not because you ask not." And had I just simply asked my mentor 2 weeks ago, she would have said, "Yeah," but I was intimidated because of who I think she is. I can't ask her that. And she's like, "Melody, just ask me." God bless you, man of God. Thank you for joining me on today. So confront any fear or intimidation that's out there trying to trip you up. Get over your fear of asking for help. Look, you all, asking for help does not make you a weaker person. It won't belittle you in the eyes of that person that you want to ask. It should not put this cloud of doubt of how people perceive you just because you need to ask for help. That spirit of, and it's really intimidation and fear of man. What would they think if I asked them for help? What will they say about me? What will they say to somebody else if I go to them and ask, "Can you help me? Can you give me some advice? Can you show me what I need to do?" You got to stop that. That's what mentors are for. That's what counsels are for. That's what your friends are for, right? So you need to be willing to ask for the help. Because sometimes, y'all, if you would just open up the door and say, "Hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me?" And they'll say, "Girl, I did that 3 years ago. Sit down. I'll tutor you on it." And bam, it's done. But if you don't ask, you'll never get the help that you need, right? Okay, Melissa said some things aren't meant for us. We just got to move on, right? But some things aren't meant for you. They are meant for you. But if you don't ask for help, you'll never know what the answer is or what you're capable of doing when all you need to ask is for a helping hand. So, I have in my notes, share your testimony. Well, this is my testimony about, another testimony about asking for help. For me, it was intimidation. And it was intimidation because, number one, I was older. And for me, I put limitations on myself because of my age. And I think at that time, I was in my late 40s, early 50s. Late 40s more so than early 50s. And I really thought that because I had waited so long, that my season had come and gone. So I was literally the person who was constantly telling myself, "No, you can't do it. That moment is past. No, you're too old. Who's going to listen to you? Oh, why do you want to try it now? Just stick to what you've been doing. You're too old to be starting something new." When I realized, honey, 50 is the new 20. You can do a lot of stuff, and then you look at people now, 60, 70, even 80 years old, that are starting new careers, that are on Facebook, who are mentoring, who are coaching, who have this wellspring of knowledge and wisdom that can support and to undergird and to befriend and to strengthen other people. But if you are not willing to get past your own barriers, look, y'all, I had to literally shake myself and say, "Girlfriend, do you know how gifted you are? How talented you are? Do you know the experiences that you have that can help somebody else?" And then I remember the scripture in Revelation that says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. But when you look back on your own testimony and you see just how far the Lord has brought you, God did not bring you through all that just for yourself, just to get out. God has instilled in you victory, right? so you can go back and help somebody else who may have the same struggle. They need to see somebody who's overcome. They need to see somebody who made it through. They need to see somebody who went through what you went through, and they see that you did not lose your mind, and they don't have to lose their mind either. Did you hear what I'm saying? They want to see if they can go through the accident because they see that you made it through the accident. Maybe you were in a terrible car crash and you lost a leg, or maybe you lost both your legs. And honey, can't nobody manipulate and maneuver a wheelchair like you. You are working a full-time job. You've got, you're doing something on the side. You're teaching, you're moving, you're grooving. You're going, you're going here, you're going there, you're driving your car. You're doing everything you need to do, and you don't even have two legs. You're doing it all in a wheelchair. And God is saying, oh Lord, God is saying to somebody out there, you are not alone. Just because you are handicapped now, or just because you went through this terrible crisis, does not mean that you are now a failure and nobody can glean from your field. God can use you right where you are, right? So for those of you who have a testimony, I'm telling you, get out there. And yes, Lynette, just do it. And for those of you who need somebody, go ask for help. I'm just going to stay on this whole mode that I'm going on. You've had a terrible accident. You are now wheelchair bound and you are depressed. You don't want to go anywhere. You're in a physical therapy and you see this person there at the physical therapist's office, and they're moving and grooving. They've got confidence. They've mastered the wheelchair. They're going here. They're going there. They're driving their own car. Go ask them, can you help me? Can you show me how you do that? What did you do to get where you are? Because I'm really struggling. Or maybe you may not have that issue of being a handicapped person, but maybe you just want to ask someone, well, Melody, how did you start doing Facebook Lives? How did you get it together? What are you doing? What's the steps that you've taken? Or, I have a couple of writing clients that I'm working with. Melody, how did you get that book published? What did you do? How did you master Amazon? What was your marketing plan? How do you develop a marketing plan? Just ask the question. Melody, how'd you get, do I really need a coaching certification to become a life coach? What did you do? What path did you take? What coaching company did you use to go through your certification program? Were they good? What would you advise me to do? Ask for help. That's all I'm saying. You may not know where to go, but your answer is just one question away. Don't be afraid, right? Okay. So for me, it was age. And one more thing, I beat myself up because I didn't have an advanced degree. I didn't have an MDiv degree. I didn't have a master's, and I didn't have a doctorate degree. And most of my girlfriends, if they already had their master's degrees, and they were probably working on their doctorate degrees back then. They normally all have their doctorate degrees now. And for a while, that really made me feel like I wasn't good enough. I wasn't as good as, because I didn't have a doctorate in ministry, that I didn't have an MDiv. And I beat myself up a lot. And I felt like I wasn't as good as. But then I had to realize that I was an anointed woman of God. I could not let my lack of an MDiv degree stop me from doing what God had called me to do. And I'm talking about ministry. I was in the last class that was able to be ordained an elder in our denomination without a master's degree. And I thank God for that. And I might, my husband and I are both talking about going back to school, him for his doctorate and me to finish. And I have 32 master's programs. And I may go back and finish it. But for a long time, I didn't think I was good enough because I didn't have an MDiv. And I'm a gifted teacher. I'm a gifted preacher. When I stand up before God's people, I have a confidence. I have a boldness, and I know how to put a good sermon together. I am anointed for that office, and I had to tell myself that over and over and over again. And just because I didn't have an MDiv degree did not mean that I was not good enough to preach and teach before God's people, right? You've got to look at those things that are speaking to you in your spirit and put them behind you and work with what you got until you can get better, right? You got to see the essence and the gifting. You know what? Because remember, in part 1, we looked at those giftings, those talents that's already on the inside of us. And we've got to see what we already have that God can use, right? So I'm telling you, stop telling yourself no. Stop telling yourself no. Work with what you got until you can do better. Because God can still use you. God can still anoint you. God can still propel you to that place of destiny with what He's already given you. Right? You got to stop telling yourself no. Karen, so glad you could join me, sweetie. So glad to see you. Thank you for joining me on today. So before I close, I just wanted to remind everybody that you've got to remember, like we talked about in part 1, that what God has given you is not inconceivable. It may be bigger than what you've ever imagined, but when God has placed it in your spirit, God's wanting you to do something with it, right? So don't tell yourself no. I'm looking at my notes again. If you are committed to doing the work of birthing your vision, of birthing your dream, God has promised you that He will be there with you in the fight. Hey, sweetie, I see Sister Hood who's joined me. Thank you so much, Keontae. So will you commit to assessing where you are, to looking at those things that you need to get you to that place where you need to be so you can move forward in jump-starting your dream? God has great plans for you, and He wants you. I'm telling you all, He has got so much in store for you. But you've got to look at where you are, and you've got to look at where God is trying to take you. And then you've got to commit to doing the work. And then once you commit to doing the work, watch God open the doors. And you will see God beginning to elevate you higher and higher and higher. Remember, what they say, every round grows higher and higher. So let's just review for those who came on late. You've got to assess what you already have and what you need. Do you need a certification? Do you need an accreditation? Do you need training? Do you need a class? Do you need to go back to school? Do you need to take a class? What do you need? And you need to really look deep at those places. Do you need financing? Do you need to build relationships with your bank? With the banker there. You need to go in and sit down and talk. Go into that little cubbyhole at the bank, right? And sit down and talk. Hi, woman of God. Talk and ask those relevant questions of what you need to get your finances together. Number 3, talk to someone if you need help getting through those raw emotional places that you might have in your heart and in your spirit. Maybe you need a counselor. Maybe you need a psychiatrist. Maybe you need a mentor. Maybe you need a coach. Maybe you need to sit down and make an appointment with your pastor. Someplace safe. Go and ask. Can I talk to you about this issue that I need to talk to someone about? Because if that's the only thing that's stopping you, you better pick up the phone and you need to call somebody, right? And then confront any fears, any level of intimidation that may be stopping you from moving forward. And don't be like me. Don't let age or don't allow the lack of an advanced degree stop you. Let me just say this too. Because I didn't have the advanced degrees and because I wanted to be a certified coach, I went out. I didn't get one certification. I got 3. And when I really look at it, I think I did it because I felt like the more certifications that I had, people would not look at the fact that I didn't have an MDiv degree or a doctorate in ministry. And I realize now I didn't really need an advanced coaching certification. I have 3, but just because I didn't have an MDiv or a doctorate did not make me less than. I have been coaching and mentoring women and men for over 20 plus years. I have tons of experience. And with that one certification that I had, I could have moved forward, but those were some issues. And I think there were esteem issues on my part that was holding me back. So yes, I did. And like I shared with you before, I went out and I got those other certifications. That's what I felt like I needed, and that's what I did. You need to do the same thing. Look and see, hey Tracy, how are you? Look and see what you need. And then also confront those areas of fear and intimidation and stop allowing them to paralyze you from moving forward. Yes, for me, not only was it an advanced degree, it was my age. I was well over 30 and I felt like my time had come and gone. And when I realized, honey, 50 is the new 20. I'm just saying, right? Okay, so I'm moving forward and I want you to do the same thing. So are you ready to move forward? You've got to make the decision to see what you need so you can get it done. Again, if you look up at the top of your screen, you will see that I put a link for a free download. It's a worksheet where you can kind of answer some of these questions that I put before you today. Download it, right? Download it and see just where you are so you can move to that next place, to that next area where God has you so you can get ready to launch and to birth what God is doing. Thank you, Karen. Karen said she has hers. Thank you for downloading it. What you're going to see, it's going to be part 3, right? And I want you to get a cup of coffee, get a cup of tea, go to a quiet place and look at those questions, right? And really assess where you are, right? So you can move to that place that God has for you. I pray that you enjoyed this segment. I hope that you will see me on Thursday so we can go on to the next part. We'll kind of like maybe dig a little bit deeper here, but we're looking forward to hear, and email me. You all email me, hit me on Facebook, and just let me know how these broadcasts are blessing you. You might even want to just go ahead and put something in my timeline right now if you've enjoyed this. And please, please, please share this with friends. Share this on your timeline. Share the link with other people so they can get part 1 and part 3. Part 2 didn't really have a handout, but if you want to download the free downloads for part 1 and part 3, I would love for you to do that. Well, until we get together again, it's my prayer that you will see what you need so you can get it done. I pray that you have a blessed day, and we will talk again real soon. Have a good day now. God bless you, and we will talk again. Bye-bye. Hey, Montrese. Hope you watch it from the beginning. See you later. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.